what might be one or two of your favorites that you can recall? Really special moments or special places.
Well, Galapagos was truly wonderful. And just having that close-up experience with all these animals. And so that was very cool. And a lot of activity and snorkeling. I'm getting used to it finally. And so that was really good. And then in Peru, going to the oldest city in Peru, Cusco, and then from there going to Machu Picchu and doing a hike on Huayna Picchu, scariest mountain in South America, and at least ill-prepared scariest mountain. I think those are probably like two of my highlights. And yours?
Well, as a poet, which I've been writing a poem a day for the last couple of years now, thedailypoem.org.
Excellent.
Check it out. But one of my all-time favorite poets is Pablo Neruda, and he's a Chilean poet. He's a Nobel laureate. So we took the time to go visit all three of his homes in Chile. One of them in Santiago, one of them in Isla Negra, and the other in Valparaiso. Each home very distinctive. He was quite a character. They were like museums even while he was living in them. Wow. He loved to collect figurines and all things marine and navigation stuff, and he collected figureheads off of old sailing ships, and just a really interesting man. And his poetry galvanized a generation of kind of revolutionary, freedom-minded people of Chile back in the day. That was a real memorable thing for me. Also in South America, I think we took a helicopter flight over the city of Rio de Janeiro. Kind of splurged, which you've got to do every now and then when you travel for a year. It can't just be bed and breakfast and the bus and all the good stuff, you know, economical stuff all the time. So we took this 15-minute helicopter ride over Rio de Janeiro, out over the favelas, over the what are the two beaches? Copacabana Beach and what's the other one? Famous
Ipanema.
beach? Ipanema. Yeah. In Ipanema. And then the helicopter pilot took us two big circles right around the Christ statue. And it was just incredible. Unbelievable to fly in a helicopter over the city. That was a real memorable time for me. I think for me, the highlights of the trip were more the adventures and the distinctive places. So that was South America. What about Africa? I think there were some memorable places in Africa.
For me, it was the Okavango Delta, which is a flat area that gets flooded every year from the rains up north that flood down to the southern area. And oddly enough, when the water gets there, suddenly fish spring up. You have all these beautiful lily pads, and it's just the weirdest thing. And so I actually had painted a painting of this Okavango Delta like about 4 years ago. And so when I was there and I actually saw those lily pads and everything, I was just like, I did the same thing. And that's where we saw an elephant out in the wild in a little canoe, and he was mad at us and for disturbing his peace. So that was pretty memorable, and camping 2 nights there. So, you know, it's like first experience of being out in the wild and hearing hippos going by in the water and knowing that they're the animal that kills more people. That's freaky. But it was perfectly fine. Obviously, no scars. So that was pretty cool in Africa.
Yes, and for me, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was a real highlight. It took a week, and Mimi stayed down at the hotel. what was it called? Zara. Anyways,
Springlands Hotel.
Springlands Hotel, a nice hotel there. And I left from there and did a 7-day trek up Kilimanjaro. Incredible, very difficult, but memorable, and just a once-in-a-lifetime experience being up there at, what is it, 19,000 and some feet.
Yeah.
It's higher than base camp, very cold, incredible view. But being just an isolated mountain in the middle of a flat plain, you don't look out over mountains like you do in the Himalayas or the Rocky Mountains. You just look out over this vast land of Tanzania on one side and Kenya on the other. But one of the interesting things about Kilimanjaro is that each person has about 5 or 6 people that support you as you go. They're your kind of like your Sherpas that carry all your stuff. They don't call them Sherpas, they call
Porters.
them porters. Yeah, your porters. So I happened to be a group of 1 because there was no one else going on my particular day, and plus I was going for 7 days, not the traditional 6 that a lot of the people were doing. So here I had 6 guys hiking ahead, pitching the tents, making me a hot meal when I got to camp. There was a card table set up with a candle burning and a tablecloth. So I'd sit down out here in the middle of nowhere and eat my food. I felt like I was in a movie, you know, like these posh British explorers, you know, out doing their thing. But that was awesome. I'm really proud of the fact that I made it up Kilimanjaro. I wasn't sure if I would or not.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing from Africa, another adventure, was flying on a little microlight hang glider with a motor, flying out over the Zambia River and Victoria Falls. Incredible. Scary, but beautiful and amazing. Amazing way to fly.
That's
And-
just,
It's great.
go ahead.
No, so are there any other biggies? The Wall of China. The Wall of China, that was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, China, and going to the church that was of spilt blood
Oh,
They
the
call it
Church
the-
on Spilt Blood in St.
in
Petersburg.
St. Petersburg.
Oh, wow.
It was a artistic surprise. It was just fabulous. And it was funny because Dawn thought the whole time, that's in St. Petersburg, and the whole time Dawn was saying, I think that, church that you're looking for is actually in Moscow. And I said, no, I know it's on this river. I saw it in National Geographic like 20 years ago. And sure enough, we come, we're like walking on this road, and we're like, oh, where is it? And there it was, this gorgeous church, and we thought, wow, it's beautiful. And then we go, well, should we take a tour? So we just, on an impulse, took a tour. Don't normally take tours of churches, but we thought, why not? After 6, it was a special deal. So, we get in on the special deal. And you walk in, and the entire church, the inside, is all done in mosaics. These itty-bitty
Entire
little,
surface of the inside of the church.
1-inch mosaics.
Wow.
All of the walls,
It took
all
like
of the
14
ceiling.
years or something just to tile the inside of it.
Amazing.
And
Unreal.
within like 20 years, this church was being used as a storage place for fruits and vegetables because communism had come and had said, oh, this church it needs to be used for this,
Yeah.
And so it was in complete ruin, and they redid it about 10, 15 years ago, and it is gorgeous. So that was a really nice surprise too. Found something I thought I had heard about.
It's amazing.
That was great too.
We could just sit here for hours on
Oh, we
end
could.
just listening to your stories. They're so incredible and fabulous.